You're listening to the all-new Don and Mike Show reunion podcast from ExhibitCityNews.com. For 5.5 years, the Don and Mike Show was a podcast staple for the trade show, live event, and experiential marketing industries in today's world. Your hosts, as always, are Don Savela, owner and publisher of Exhibit City News in Las Vegas, and Mike Morrison, Vice President of Sales at WS Display. The reunion kicks off right after this short break.
Need a presenter? Your Event Audio has you covered. Closed-circuit audio equipment with turnkey operation at your trade show booth, live event, or private event. YourEventAudio.com is the place to go. DJ services, MC talent, and a whole lot more. Check out YourEventAudio.com today.
What's happening, everybody? Hope you're having a great October. We're a little over halfway through now, and this is the Don and Mike Show Reunion Podcast. I'm Mike Morrison, your co-host for the show, VP of Sales for WS Display. And if you're watching the video, you see there from our Las Vegas location, the world headquarters of Exhibit City News, Don Savela, the other co-host of the show. And it is the Don and Mike Show Reunion Podcast for this October 18th. Hope you're doing well, Don. You look all dapper and cleaned up. You clean up very well for a Friday morning.
Hey, thanks, Mike. It's a busy Friday for us out here. We got business aircraft moving in. We got tons of other stuff happening, and it's just a busy city going into another weekend.
Yeah, normally in the cadence of shows here, normally this would be the week for Trade Shows Unhinged. Unfortunately, Todd Nall, my other co-host, is out running around doing Showbox exhibit stuff, so he can't be in the studio today. So Don graciously jumped in and pinched hit, and we did an early version of next week's show this week, which we got a lot to talk about. It's really going to be a good show. Last week's Don and Mike show, which was on schedule to happen, was our first throwback show. I laugh a little bit. This is the one, Don, it was May of 2019 when we burned the old Don and Mike show jingles. It was a situation where we played some jingles of the old syndicated show. We had a little bit of a bump and run in with them, the old guys that did that original show. So we had jokingly burned those jingles. And we also talked to Glenn Deal, who's the owner of Genesis Exhibits, who had a great interview about trends at that time. That was pre-pandemic. Of course, the rules changed for post-pandemic. But if you're interested in hearing that show as well as any of the others we've done to this point on the reunion, you can head over to Don and Mike Reunion.com, and all the audio versions of our shows are there. Of course, you can see all the video versions at ExhibitCityNews.com right there on the landing page. Just look for the little blue box that has our mugshots in them, and you can click on that and see the latest show. We have a little bit of exciting news to start off with, Don. We have hired Nick Prather. Nick Prather is our new Southeastern Regional Sales Manager at WS. He starts October 28th. He'll be a dynamic addition being the Southeast Regional Manager. And on the surface, I don't know about you, but I'm still seeing a lot of moving and shaking going on with people changing jobs and changing roles, going to different places within the industry. Not sure that's a good thing or bad thing, but it is part of the ecosystem of what we do in trade shows, live events, and experiential marketing. And of course, we want to reiterate, Don, I'm sure you do as well, if you have that type of news, where do they need to send it at Exhibit City News?
Hey, thanks, Mike. And hello to everybody out there. ExhibitCityNews.com. You can get us through our website, or you can always get me at Don S. at ExhibitCityNews.com. That's my personal email, Don S. like Savela. And yeah, Mike, lots of stuff going on. And I think some of the movements we're witnessing with the industry workforce are part of a natural progression of, something that we've never witnessed in a lifetime, a series of lifetimes, the COVID thing with the industry closing down and then everyone coming back, the lack of a younger component to our workforce. And then when we did start adding in new people, both young and people changing careers, there's a big learning curve there as well. And meantime, in the background, you've got both the economy doing its thing, and then you've got the political situation with elections doing its thing. So, we still have a lot of new companies that started out there, and we've still got some buyout announcements that are going to happen before the end of the year that we've been watching as well.
That's an interesting point. Another one that I think you can throw in that monkey wrench into why there's change is RTO, or basically returning to the office. I still think that has become a big concern with people about being so used to working from home, and then the employer says, hey, I want you back in the office 80 to 100% of the time. A lot of people are not taking very kindly to that move, and therefore they will be looking for other opportunities. It'll be interesting within the organizations, within our industries, of how that progresses. I think we should keep an eye on that. The Exhibit City News trade show calendar came out earlier today in emails. Of course, your fourth quarter Exhibit City News is live, and there's some final touches being put on with the 30th anniversary publication that's about to come out before the end of the year. So there's a lot of things going on at Exhibit City News, right?
Yeah, certainly are, Mike. And, it's amazing how quickly the year has gone past, and that we're looking at daylight savings time change again coming here in another week or two. Before we know it, it'll be the holidays and the industry's big end of year meetings with EDPA ACCESS and IAEE Expo. So we'll be reporting on a lot of stuff.
Yes, you will. You mentioned EDPA ACCESS. That's the direction I wanted to go with. Now, the signups are underway, and more than ever, I'm seeing a very strong social media presence for promotion of this year's event. It may even be a record attendance. That's my guess. If I'm Pete Rose, and I rest in peace, I'll be willing to bet that there's going to be an attendance break coming up for this year. I think we're going to exceed our normal or lower 300 numbers, but it's taking place at Hyatt Regency in Indian Wells in Palm Desert, California, a place I'm sure you know very well. And speaking with Dasher Lowe earlier this week, the executive director of EDPA, we see an entire skeleton of the event being changed. Normally there would be traditional exhibiting happening at this conference, and that's happened for decades as an exhibit hall environment. That's kind of our world, right? It's the trade show world. We set up booths, and for this year, we will see more of an emphasis placed on networking opportunities and not on exhibiting opportunities. What's your, is that a good idea or a bad idea in your opinion?
The jury is still out on that, Mike. It's interesting to watch. When times are good for an industry, which they are currently for ours, it's easier to move in a direction like this. But when the industry might stagnate for a little bit growth-wise, this or that, and it'll have a hiccup and it might return to, physical exhibiting. That's pretty much what we stand for. But space requirements for a physical show and the costs associated with it, I'm not sure. We'll see what people think of it as we check with them during the show and shortly after. But getting back to you saying this might be a record breaker, you might be right. And I like to point out how the international component of the EDPA membership love this location even more than us in the United States. And we love it. It's one of our top locations that we've been to in the past when they survey everybody. So we're going to have a big international contingent.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. We are sponsoring WS, the President's After Party, again this year. We did it last year for the first time. I'll be DJing that event as well as karaoke jockeying not a competition, but we do give away a trophy for somebody who sticks out further than maybe someone else does on singing on stage and just having a good time, that networking component again. But we'll also have the opportunity to place our display product within that environment in a very unique way. So we're looking forward to that. But it's a little different strategy, and I'm not sure that's a bad thing. I'll tell you what, and you came up with an excellent idea. Major props to you, because today, in today's show where we have our break, we're going to interview Sean Kim from the Hyatt Regency in Indian Wells. And Sean is going to talk to us about the property, about what we can expect. We'll have some questions from some of our industry people about what's the bar going to be like? What's the drinking premises look like? What's the fun look like? Because that's a big part of this conference. But also, what does Indian Wells bring to EDPA Access? Our 70th anniversary, by the way. I certainly can't go by and not mention that. Especially the challenge, Don, that I've got right now. I've got to put together a music list for playing after the President's Party, of centering on that vibe of the 70th anniversary celebration. You know, I'm not too far from there. I'm, knocking on the door of 62, and, it's only 8 years apart from 70 if the math is correct, and that means I'm older than 3 layers of dirt. So that's going to be a challenge, right?
Could earwax from 300 people make 70 candles?
Oh God, I miss 70 candles. And then there you go. I guess you can collect and put it all together and see how it turns out. But it's going to be fun. We definitely know that. That's the focus. It's going to be networking. It's going to be experiential, and it's going to be fun. Putting all those elements together, I think, is what the goal is going to be. So let's take a quick break. Come back and talk with Sean Kim from Indian Wells, the Hyatt Regency there, about the property and what to expect from the 70th anniversary of EDPA Access. It comes up next right after this.
My name is Donald Savela, and I'm publisher, founder of the Exhibit City News. Project 30 is the culmination of 3 decades of trade show and event history across North America and even internationally to a degree. We're charged with the history of the industry. We take it very seriously. Our entire staff does. This is something we put out for our 20th anniversary. Then we put this book out for the 25th anniversary, and we're already talking, like 225 pages. So we're expecting Project 30 to be roughly around 300 pages of stuff that's important to the industry.
Well, what it means for the industry is the important thing, and we're the keeper of the history of the industry. It's like one big small town, and these are all the population from coast to coast and beyond, and no one else has recorded the history of the growth of the venues, from no venue to gigantic venues, from a labor force specialized in handling an exhibit program.
Welcome back to the Don and Mike Show Reunion Podcast. Appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to listen to us today with this great interview that Don set up with Sean Kim from the Hyatt Agency, a organization, and he's in Palm Springs, where we're going to be going as a industry for EDPA Access. And Don had this great idea, and so major kudos, as I said on the front end of the show, for him to come up with this idea to talk with someone. So we reached out to our contacts there at Hyatt in Palm Springs, and everybody said, Sean Kim, that's your person, that's your guy. He's going to tell you all about the property. So I'm going to turn this over to Don and let him have a conversation with Sean, who's the Director of Commercial Services for Hyatt in Indian Wells.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, thank you for joining us today. We're so glad to have you. 18 years with the Hyatt Corporation, and just coming up on 6 years with the Grand Hyatt there in Indian Wells. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Mike and Don. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. As Mike was saying on the lead-in, we've got our big meeting of the year coming up on the first week of this December, and usually 300 to 400 people at least. And it's our big event of the year. We've been to your property before. It's been one of the highest ranked properties we've been to when we do our surveys. So we're just calling to see what's new this year. It's been, I think, 3 years since we've been there, maybe even 4, I'm not sure, but we're looking forward to coming back. So Sean, tell us what's going on with the property out there.
Yeah, first and foremost, congratulations on the reunion. I know you took a little bit of hiatus, and came back. And I know you guys usually talk about trade shows, but for you to talk about the resort that you're going to be staying in, I think that's a great segment. So congrats and kudos to you. As far as our changes, what's not changed here? It's I'm not sure when was the last time you visited our beautiful resort, but first and foremost, we went through a extensive $64 million renovation that broke ground in September of last year, so a little over a year ago. And as of September 9, we are officially a Grand Hyatt Indian Wells. We used to be Hyatt Regency Indian Wells. So we have elevated our property to a luxury segment that involved in renovating our every single guest rooms. We have now celebrity chef restaurant, 2 of them actually in our lobby. Brand new lobby, brand new market. Our spa is getting retouched as well as our meeting spaces upstairs. And we did the entire pool deck. It's gorgeous. So we have 9 pools total with a water park with lazy river and dual slides. So we got it going on. We got a lot happening at our resort.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do remember is how incredible the service was. How many employees, both full and part-time, does a property that size and caliber employ?
Currently, we have about 450 employees at our resort and growing. And talking about service culture, yes, we do pride ourselves in our service. But with the renovation, we wanted to make sure that we're not just putting a name. We want to back it up by a service culture. So we went through a whole year of training with Forbes to make sure that every aspect of our service is elevated as well. With COVID, lots changed, obviously. We got rid of concierge, we got rid of room service, and there were things that were missing in terms of element, but we brought all of those back. We have full-time concierge back to our property. We have in-room dining that started last month. So all of those came back along with an elevated service culture at our resort.
Yeah, we really look forward to coming out. One of our people on the board of one of our associations said that he had heard that a number of the restaurants will be under reconstruction or refurbishment while we're out there in December. Is that true, or some other construction?
That is actually not true.
Oh, good.
The renovation of our restaurants have completed. So our lobby lounge / restaurant, it's called Kermucha, opened up first in May. Beautiful restaurant and lounge. It is just to tell you a little bit backstory about that. It is the first Kermucha from our celebrity chef Angelo Sosa, who's based out of San Diego. He has a successful restaurant out at JW Marriott Desert Ridge in Scottsdale. It's called Tia Carmen. So Kermucha is Tia Carmen, Aunt Carmen's nickname. And it is paying homage to the Aunt Carmen, who was a world traveler and a foodie. So she used to travel all around the world and write postcards about the food that she ate to Angelo. So he basically took that postcard and made it into a wall mural. It is beautiful. It is world tapas. So you get a little bit of flavor from Asia and America, Europe. So it's a very unique lounge restaurant. So that opened up. And then in July, we opened up Tia Carmen number 2. So we have that same signature restaurant at JW Marriott that is now here. Obviously, the menu is a little bit different, but it is a Southwestern themed restaurant. And it's amazing menu, amazing restaurant. It is a whole experience, not just food, but just the experience alone. It's going to be worth it. So yeah, your information is wrong. We have 2 brand new restaurants. Along with that, I just want to say our Indian Wells Golf Resort right next door to us also opened up a brand new restaurant. And it is also a celebrity restaurant by Richard Blaze, who is actually a big partner of Hyatt. He's got a restaurant at Park Hyatt Aviara. He's got a restaurant at Grand Cypress in Orlando. He's opening up a restaurant with Hyatt Scottsdale as well. but he's actually partnered with our next door neighbor. He's got a restaurant that just opened last week. So you guys have a lot of options when you come in December.
Wow. Well, we're looking forward. Do you have a favorite at either one of those restaurants, a favorite dish?
Yeah, well, there's too many to list, but I would.
Good answer. Good answer.
I would definitely say from Carmucha, pasta dish is amazing. They have a seafood platter that comes with this amazing ice and fresh oysters and shrimp, and that's also great. Tia Carmen, just the whole entire menu from steaks to Tia Carmen chicken. It's amazing. And they have beautiful wine pairing and signature cocktails as well, which you guys will love. You guys will enjoy.
Sean, switching gears a little bit, there's so much to do on property and immediately next door.
Yep.
What's new with the general area around there? It seems like a very good economy as you drive around, the greater Palm Springs area.
Yeah.
I know it gets all the credit because its name's on the airport, sort of, but the whole area is so beautiful. Didn't they move that that statue of Marilyn Monroe standing over the air coming up? Wasn't that a big commotion in that area where they removed the statue or something?
Yeah, there was definitely a commotion. I'm not sure of the latest of what they did. I don't believe they moved the statue just yet, but there's a talks of removing that. What I can tell you is there is a lot going on in the area, especially starting with the airport alone. They are going through some massive renovation at the airport at Palm Springs. And a lot of people don't know we have an international airport. We do have flights coming through Canada. They just added a whole bunch of flights out of New York and Chicago. Obviously, we have a direct flight. Washington, D.C. was just added as well. So more and more flights are being added. They're adding the gates. They're adding baggage claim. They're building a brand new rental car. They just opened up a whole new outlets and restaurants and venues and bar. So airport alone is happening. They had 3.2 million visitors last year, which was the highest ever recorded. They're expecting to double that in 10 years. So hence why they're expanding the airport. I can also see there's a lot of traffic now happening because the snowbirds are flying back as the weather is turning around. So we're no longer in the 120-degree weather. We're in the 80s, 90s, sunny, and it's beautiful. There is a lot happening, obviously, in this area, in our desert resort area. We've opened up a Tommy Bahama. That's the first resort ever right across from us. Miramonte is now a first ever Tommy Bahama resort. They have a great restaurant as well. And then as well as we talked about ours and the Indian Wells. If anyone loves golf, this is the golf destination. There's over 100 golf courses here in Palm Springs, Greater Palm Springs. So, yeah.
We know that one of particularly the international segment of our group really loves this region, for the Gulf and for the weather.
Yeah.
Coming from Europe or Asia, they just love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's why we're excited to be able to preview what they can expect there. We're, Mike, 6 weeks out, roughly?
Right at it. I have a question, though. 2 weeks ago, you posted on LinkedIn specifically your sizzle reel showing the announcement that you made just a few minutes ago about it elevating to a Grand Hyatt.
Yes.
And as I'm watching that, it's an amazing reel, by the way. It's great footage. But the one thing that grabbed my attention was that you said each room, each villa, if you will, it has been renovated. And what I noticed was it seemed like, correct me if I'm wrong, every patio or back porch, if you will, had some type of cabana or a grill or something. Is that with every room, or is that an elevated version of those types of heavy rooms, high-end rooms have that? And what is the story on that?
But we have to hire you as a part-time spokesperson, Mike, because yes, those are our we're very special. In a case, we have 43 villas.
Okay.
That has a backyard with fire pits, and some will have the jacuzzi or spa. Some will have a spool or a plunge pool. So it has different backyard feature, but those are beautiful villas ranging from 1 to 2 bedroom, anywhere from 1,500 square feet to 2,200 square feet.
So it's
quite large. Yes. It's a beautiful villa. It's separated from our main building. It's surrounded by the golf course. And yes, what you're seeing there is our renovated elevated villa that was part of our renovation. And we're very proud of that because it's unlike anything that you can experience out here in the desert. And just our standard room alone, our smallest room is 550 square feet, which is the largest in the Central Valley. You would call that a suite in New York.
I agree. Don, you and I will be in the main building, most likely. We won't be in that elevated. I don't think we got that kind of paycheck. But I thought I would ask because the footage of your renovation was simply amazing. Go ahead, Don.
Oh, I think we touched on everything other than what about the spa? Any changes there?
Yes, spa is gotten a refresh exterior and interior, and also the FF&E. A lot of the furniture, fixtures have been updated, upgraded to more modern. So spa, and then connected to that is our fitness center, which also had got some facelift as well. Just let you know, we Hyatt partnered with Peloton, and Hyatt members now can earn World of Hyatt points if they complete an exercise with Peloton. So, that's going to be on for every Hyatt out there. I should have bought Peloton stocks because last I checked, they went up like 70%, maybe because of that. But we're excited about some of these partnerships that we have in our fitness and spa area.
That's nice.
That's very, very nice. Man, I am so excited. Any chance we're going to get to meet you while we're out there that week in December?
Please do. Feel free to reach out. Maybe we can. I can introduce to your signature cocktails, and give you guys a little taster.
That would be much appreciated. Don, I think any final comments or statements before we wrap this up?
They just want to be to double check that there's no scheduled earthquakes while we're out there.
Last I checked, there is no earthquakes.
Great. Good to know.
We're going to be good.
Yeah. I live in Atlanta. We just had hurricanes come through. I don't need any more crazy elements hitting on any kind of activities that we do for this. So we need to have a Chamber of Commerce weather, particularly Southern California style, and I'm sure you're going to get that for us, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I was at Baja for a conference during Hurricane Helene, so I had to take some reroutes to get out of there to get to Palm Springs.
I got one I can trump you with. I was playing in an industry golf tournament here in Atlanta in the middle of Helene, and there was rain or shine, and it was all rain, wind and rain. It was horrible. But it was for a great cause, and Don knows what I'm talking about. But we look forward to it. I think it's going to be a great event, and we really do appreciate you coming on our podcast and talking about what's going to come up for EDPA ACCESS while we're there. So thank you very much for that.
No, thank you for having me. We're going to make sure you guys have a great time, and thank you for thinking of us and booking us for the conference. We appreciate that very much.
Awesome. We'll take a quick break, come back and wrap things up right after this, and stop.
From light boxes, towers, counters, and back walls to turnkey custom exhibits, WS Display is your partner in providing quality displays at extremely aggressive pricing to fit any reseller's budget. Make more profit by teaming up with WS. With a team of experts to assist with estimates, renderings, and CAD, to fulfillment, setup, and test fitting, quality photo proofs, and complete project handling from our East Coast, West Coast, and Pacific fulfillment facilities. We can be your partner today. Hit me up at mike@wsdisplay.com for more information.
Welcome back. A great interview. Once again, Don, kudos to you for thinking of that, because I don't have that thought process in my body to think ahead and think, hey, let's talk to someone there in Indian Wells about the property and what to expect. I've never been. I'm very much looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, I come to California twice in December. I'm going to Indian Wells for this, and then at the end or right before Christmas, I'll be at our corporate facility with Nick Prather, the guy I mentioned earlier, Southeast Regional Manager, to do some training there in our Mexico facility, but also in Carlsbad. So I'm going to get a good dose of California at the end of the year. That's going to be great for me, right?
Yeah. No, it's great to get some advanced knowledge by someone that truly knows the property and can speak not just the property, but the surrounding area.
Talk about properties and changes that's coming on. Last week, I was in Kansas City, Kansas, downtown, for Shop Ideation and IRDC. These two are conferences in the retail world. And I noticed an interesting move that's happening right in front of the Kansas City Convention Center. If you're in that area of Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas, you know what's going on. There's some buildings that were leveled, that whole area right in front, the front door of the convention center. And a new green space is being installed known as the Barney Alice Plaza. Now, there on your screen, if you're watching, you will see a photo of the conceptual. It's not quite done yet, but it's almost there because they did a lot of work while I was there. But this is an event plaza. It's a paved space on the south end where you can have large events, pop-up festivals, and more. A sloped lawn boasting terraces and views onto the event plaza, a pavilion plaza intended to host food trucks and other pop-up events, as well as a variety of artwork throughout the space. And then finally, an oval lawn offering a flat and flexible green space for casual events and informal gatherings. Don, this type of change is coming. Now, it's already in tier 1 cities like Vegas, like Atlanta, like New York, and so forth. And I think this is a shift in my mind from property being utilized for capital gains versus property for human usage. What are your thoughts on that?
Mike, I think it's a great trend that we're seeing. And, you know, there's various reasons for it and underlying reasons below that. When these convention centers were originally built and the land selected for them in the big cities back east and in the Midwest and beyond, you know, it took years of political haggling, you know, where to put the convention center, what property. And it always ended up in the worst area of the city that, you know, people were saying, yeah, take that. You know, I'm talking about Chicago's McCormick Place. It's beautiful there on the lakefront, but it was just in a dilapidated area. And there's also there was a study done with the streets in cities across the United States named Martin Luther King Jr. And they renamed the streets in the worst parts of town after that civil rights leader. It was just, it's terrible when you look back at these things a couple generations later, but here we come full circle and they're realizing the importance of this green space in close proximity to the convention center and to serve as additional function areas. Like you said here with Kansas City, you know, changing artwork and an area for food trucks to go. And, you know, you don't have to write a lot of bonds and carry a lot of debt for yet another structure. You know, and here in Las Vegas, that beautiful hall that they built and opened during COVID, the West Hall, it's like, it's a shame they couldn't have done some kind of desert landscape thing with, you know, all the beautiful plants that only grow in the desert, you know, like Ethel M Chocolate Factory out here, if anyone's ever been there. Instead, it got sold to the highest bidder, and they're going to go up, 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 building more condo units and I don't think we need that, but that's what we got.
Good point. I think, though, as the generations shift forward, as the new blood comes in and this new mindset that's being put out there, and I'm not sure it's a negative one, I think it's a positive one, of green consciousness, of land usage like this in Kansas City and other places where they're thinking, you know what? This is great. We need to think from a capitalistic standpoint, but we also need to think about the environment and places to work, live, have fun, and utilize that in a positive manner. I think that's going to be a good thing. I know downtown Atlanta, in the Championship Campus area around Centennial Park, comes to mind right there outside of State Farm Arena, Mercedes-Benz, Georgia World Congress Center. All of that has that kind of a feel down there. And I think the more we do that, I think that's going to be positive. That's just my opinion. And it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. You know, this will be the last show before the election. And we're not going to talk politics. No, don't turn off the channel yet. But I do feel, if you're like me, you are about tired of throwing things at the screen and really kind of just tired of hearing, these ads that are pushing in right now, Don, in my opinion, I think everybody's mind is made up who they're going to vote for. You're going to be one side, you're going to be on the other. Let's just get it over with and move forward and figure out your direction once that individual's in office and all of these things have settled in. And let's move forward, because right now, I think the election's kind of a hindrance in us moving forward. What are your thoughts on that?
So you can't plan as a business entity or even personally on some things, whether to take on more debt and, all the decisions tied to economy. And, it's one is go left, one is go right. It's very little, we'll meet in the middle on this or that. So hopefully we'll see that changing, but we're not going to hold our breath, are we?
No, matter of fact, the Steelers wheel comes to mind every time we start talking politics. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. And here I am stuck in the middle with my brother, Don Savela. That's kind of where we're at today when it comes to the political world. Let's wrap up with this. I know you mentioned off mic, big event coming up, launch party combined with the EDPA mixer. Tell us a little bit about that that's coming up.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? November's almost upon us, and Exhibit City News is going to celebrate each and every one of our 4 print issues every year with the launch party, one of which will be here in Las Vegas somewhere, and one will be on the road somewhere across the United States. But for our launch party for our 4th quarter that just came out a couple weeks ago, it's going to be in conjunction with the EDPA mixer on Friday, November the 8th from 6 to 9 p.m. It's in the Arts District here in Las Vegas, which a lot of you know it's not that far from the main convention center. And it's at the Voodoo Lounge. The Voodoo Brewery, not the Voodoo Lounge. That's at the top of the Rio. But it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a lot of great networking, and a lot of business dealing gets done at these events. It's also the night that SEMA breaks. So it's going to be a busy Friday here in Vegas indeed.
Maybe somebody can run a little Facebook Live or a little social on that. Let us see what's going on there. Good luck on having that. Our next show for Don and Mike will take place, speaking of November, is November the 8th. As I said, that will be the Friday after the election. So we'll kind of know a little bit more about what direction we're going, and hope you have a great rest of your October. It's only a couple of weeks left, and we will check you out on the next one on the Don and Mike Show Reunion Podcast. Thanks for listening and viewing.